Greetings and salutations, Furality. Hopefully you have all been having a wonderful weekend. I'm coming to you guys live here from my tavern where I do all of my live streaming. I suppose a proper introduction is in order. Hello, my name is Kazuma. You have probably seen me running around Furality all weekend. I am a content creator slash live streamer for Twitch.tv. And I will be showing you guys how to record and or stream virtual reality content. I have been a live streamer for roughly around 7 to 8 years, and I have worked with every major live streaming software that is in existence. So I have worked with OBS, I've done OBS Studio, I've done XSplit, and I have done Streamlabs OBS. Today I will be showing each and every one of you how to go about getting OBS set up, or XSplit if you want to get more snazzy with your streams, or Streamlabs OBS if that's what you would prefer. Each one does have their pros and cons, obviously. So I suppose I'll go ahead and get started with the pros and cons of each one. So XSplit, for instance, one of its biggest pros is that it is back. It is obviously a premium subscription or a one-time $200 piece of software. It is compatible with just about every kind of capture card that you could imagine without the need of much extra setup. And they also have a dedicated 24-hour support team that is able to assist you with any problems you have. Again, that's also going to come up to one of its cons. If you can't afford the $200 lifetime fee, then they do offer monthly or quarterly payments. I believe it's like 1 month, 3 month, and then I think you can also get it at a year. And then obviously they do have their lifetime. Pros of both Streamlabs and OBS and OBS Studio. First off, they're both free and open source. So rather than just having a dedicated support team, you have a wide variety of community members that can help you with any problems. Some of the few things that I have run into issues with when it comes to OBS is that getting information to problems you could be having can be a little spotty, and even Google searches can lead you on wild goose changes. Or, I don't know why I said changes, but goose chases. Um, so what I've gone ahead and done is I have reset all of the softwares to their default states, and I'm going to begin to show you guys the process of getting it set up, starting with my particular favorite, XSplit. So let me go ahead and get set up with a monitor capture here, display capture. We'll just go ahead and let's do display one. So we're going to go ahead and get, so let's go ahead and just bring myself up here like this, and I'm going to shrink myself down here in the corner. So when you first start up XSplit, this is what you're going to be greeted with. If you've already previously used OBS and you want to transition your scenes over, that is definitely something that you are able to do. As for me, I don't have anything saved from OBS as I don't use it too terribly often. This is the first time I've actually used it in a long time. So when dealing with virtual reality, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are gamers, so we're going to be using Steam in this case. The biggest things you want for Steam is obviously you want to have Steam VR open and ready to go with Steam VR installed. There are a couple of extra little things that you'll want to have that will help, especially if you're a live streamer. So like you'll want to make sure you have like FPS VR. FPS VR is a really phenomenal piece of software for you to have, and it's really cheap. It gives you kind of like, if you look down at the ground, there will be an arrow that points in the direction of your of the front end of your play space, and it will help keep you from tangling up your cable. It also will give you a bunch of like extra little stats, such as like what's your frame rate you're getting, and like the temperatures of your thermals, so you can keep track of all that kind of stuff. Another piece of software that's not necessarily important to have, but is really nice to have, is OVR Advanced Settings. What this software will allow you to do is it will allow you to manipulate your play space. So like if you're playing like VR chat and you want to put the camera up somewhere out of the way, so you kind of like you set your camera where you want it, and then you want the control panel to just kind of be gone and out of the way, you can use Play Space Mover to put it up somewhere out of the way where you won't see it. And it's especially something that's really helpful to do when you're playing games, so it doesn't give you kind of like an unfair advantage because suddenly you can see behind you. Another piece of software that I personally use that I like is OVR Toolkit. And this is another really nice thing to have, whether you're just in general streaming or you're just wanting to use your computer without having to leave VR and deal with Steam's overlay, because Steam's overlay can be very finicky. OVR Toolkit is another one that I use. Another really popular software that I've seen a lot of streamers use is XS Overlay. They're both fairly cheap in programs. Oh. XSplit! Why are you playing that? You're not supposed to be playing that. You're not supposed to have that. Sorry about that. That was actually one of my alerts going off. I don't know why it's playing. It's not supposed to have it. We'll get on to you later, XSplit. That's for sure. So the nice thing about OVR Toolkit is that you can have your chat on your arm, or you can kind of have it just about anywhere. And again, where you put your windows is going to be very situational to what you're playing. So I find like if I'm playing games like Beat Saber or Audica or any other kind of virtual reality games, or even VR chat, I tend to keep it on my left arm. Since I'm predominantly right-handed, it's just easier to keep everything on my offhand. Another thing that you can do in the case of like if you're playing like a sit-down game, such as Elite Dangerous, is you can have the chat window kind of off over on the side to like one of your panels, and then like when you look over at it, then the window will show up and it will disappear on its own. Now, let's go ahead and get into the actual stream business. So I'm going to go ahead and start up my Steam VR. All these programs that we are currently talking about are... Oh, hi, Steam. So a lot of the programs that we're talking about right now are basically overlays within Steam VR itself. So let me go ahead and grab my index. Come here, index. You and me are going to be best friends. So what I tend to do when I stream virtual reality is I use the VR view as a source. Now, with OBS, you can use an additional plugin that is, I forget what it's called off the top of my head. Oh, by Streamlabs OBS. That's fine. You can go away. We don't need you. You can use what's known as OpenVR Capture. OpenVR Capture works similarly to the Steam VR view. Just rather than having to have a window open, OBS will just have it tethered itself as if you were capturing like a game or anything like that. And it has a lot of really nice options with a lot of presets. But say you don't want to use OBS, but you're using XSplit. Unfortunately, XSplit does not have anything like that. So in order to do what I do via XSplit, you have to use the VR view. It works with pretty much every headset out there. including Oculus, HTC, and obviously the Oculus Rift. And I'm pretty sure that it is going to work with the Deca gear when that comes out, if you choose to go that route for your VR headset. So let's go ahead and say we're just going to use the VR view for our source. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we will go into game capture, and generally all of the streaming softwares are able to do this. Is you can have it set for an auto detect, which will just detect the software automatically on its own, or if you're wanting to layer a lot of different things on top, I find it best to have it as an individual source. So, like for instance, I'll go ahead and load up one of my I'll go ahead and load up my Shepiden presentation. So, so this is my so this is like my starting soon. It has like a bunch of extra things, but if we look here in my in-game scene, you'll see that I have VC face, I have I have a bunch of extra little options. A lot of these are custom assets that I have commissioned. Like this here, this is actually really nice for streamers. Like if you really want to kind of like get your community involved, and another way to kind of like help turn a game out of monetization is you can use what's known as Stream Boss, which is what this guy is up here. This here is just one of my own private little. I commissioned a friend of mine to do this because I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite game. So, but going on from that, I have the VR view already set up. As you can see, as I move my headset around, it's already tracking everywhere I look. Now, another thing that that you can do is you can also capture the games themselves. However, I do want to stress this: games can act differently based on. All right, you know what? You know what, Index, you can go down there for now. We're done with you for now. Games can act differently when being captured as an audience source. Largely, for instance, when I was playing Beat Saber back in 2008, when I would capture that game directly, the view would be very zoomed in, and it wouldn't be indicative to what I'm seeing. Now, this could have changed because when I had the Oculus, I had to run the Oculus SDK, and then I was also running through Steam's own software. So that could have been a thing there, but these are just also little extra things that you need to look out for. There's a program I actually forgot to mention that's actually kind of really nice to have. So if you really want to get into making content and stuff and doing stuff, like I have a few examples here. So like if you're wanting to do stuff, let me see, let's bring up my YouTube channel. So if you're wanting to do stuff kind of like this, so like say you want to make YouTube videos like this, we're just going to go ahead and mute this. What I'm doing here is obviously playing Beat Saber, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen a lot of your favorite YouTubers make stuff like this. This is not something that you can do with... Yeah, I probably meant 2018. I'm a little scatterbrained at the moment, so if I say something stupid, forgive me. But if you want to do something like this, you need a program called... there is a program called Live. This program right here is absolutely phenomenal. It lets you bring in your VR chat avatars into the program, and you can inject yourself into any game you want. So, like for instance, right here, we have me playing Beat Saber, but then if we transition over to this video, this is another game that supports Live called Synth Riders. And as you can see, I also have my avatar within this game as well. And it works with a whole bunch of different games, and it's really nice to have. The only difference is that you will need to convert your avatar into what is known as a .vrm file. or if you've gone through someone, say like Ghost Cabot, that also has that makes like .avatar files, because he would set up his avatars for use within Beat Saber itself. You can also use that. However, when you use a .avatar file, the mouth itself will not move. So if you're wanting the mouth to move when you talk, you're definitely going to want to use a .vrm file. So that's an introduction to Live. It's super easy to set up, but the biggest thing that I need to stress is that in order to do anything like this, you're going to need to have a beefy computer. If you do not have a beefy computer, do not attempt this, because you're, especially if you're wanting to do stuff with Live, because at that point you're almost essentially running a game on top of a game. Yes, I have played Audica. I actually do have a few clips and streams of me doing so. Audica has actually, since I've discovered a really awesome mod, has become one of my favorite games to play. Especially when I want to relive like my Osu days and stuff like that. It's phenomenal game. And then now with Live, another thing that I do is, as you see here, I have the Live app output. The Live app output is what will show your avatar when you're in virtual reality. So, I find that having that set up as a separate source within your stream presentation or recording presentation is the absolute best, because again, if you have auto capture set up, when you flip back to the game, the stream software, no matter what it is, whether it's Streamlabs, XSplit, or OBS Studio, they will capture the game instead. So having it set up as a separate source is kind of ideal, because you want to have the game set as your primary target, so that way the game is getting as many resources as it can to run. Well, that's because the VR camera is doing everything through VR chat itself. So to give you guys an idea of the kind of hardware that I run, I'm running an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X with a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070. And that has allowed me to run pretty much anything and everything I want with the stream at 720p 60 without any issues whatsoever. If you're wanting to go the Intel route, I would say, if you wanted to go the Intel route, I would say nothing lower than an 8th gen Core i5 or i7, as again, when you're doing stuff like this, you are, at least with Live, you're running you got to remember, you got to think about like this: I'm running a game on top of a game. So the more resources you have available and the more beefier your computer hardware, the better the performance you will be for both you and your viewers. Obviously, when you're doing recording, when it comes to recording, that's not super important, because then your computer is just saving everything to itself, and it's not going to really cause too much of an issue. But again, it's just something to keep in mind, because streaming is a little bit more intensive on the hardware. If you have an RTX card, all the better. RTX cards are absolutely fantastic for streaming, as you can use, because as most games don't take up as much VRAM, you have all that extra VRAM to do what's known as hardware encoding. Would a quad core with a 2600 or with a 2060 mobile GPU? I'm not. You might be able to get away with it, but I'm not gonna. But that's definitely something that I would test. I'm running a quad core processor. I'm running an 8-core processor, so I can't say, and I don't really have the ability to test something like that. But yeah, NVENC is absolutely fantastic for streaming. And not only that, but it's also really good for recording too, because that's freeing up your CPU to deal with a lot more of the hardware intensive stuff that you're already putting it through with VR. So it can focus more on like the getting the data that is needed for your positioning and whatnot within VR. Because again, VR is very, very intensive, and I learned this the hard way. I actually took a break from streaming and doing any kind of VR content for a large portion of 2019, and I didn't get back into it till late 2019, and found out that my old fourth gen i7 just wasn't able to keep up with it anymore. Um, but so that's some of the things that you can do. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually bring us back over to OBS for a minute, and I'm going to show you guys OVR capture. So when you add OVR cap or OpenVR capture as a source, you can have it set. Whoop. Oh, I see what's going on here. You can have it set for a bunch of different presets and have it capture. Why are you doing this? What are you doing? Computer, what are you doing? Oh, hi, computer. I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. I forgot about that. I forgot. OBS, you and me are going to be best friends, aren't we, today? So, when we open up so we're going to just drop this down here like this. So that way we can actually see what I see. So what you'll want to do is you want to open up your options, and you have a bunch of different presets. Generally, most people will capture the right eye, as most are right hand dominant, and this is important if you're playing like first-person shooters and you're wanting your viewers to be able to see down like the scope of your gun. Then you'll want to pick whichever eye you're most dominant with. So for me, I'm right eye dominant. And then you get a bunch of different presets for cropping. So you can do like no cropping. You can have it cropped to like if you have like an HTC Vive. You can do the Valve Index, and then you can come down here and you can kind of fine tune it how you want it. Forgive me as I'm like collecting my thoughts. But then once you have that set up, then that's just as valid, Jalen. Like, one thing to note is that there is no wrong or right way to do this. I'm just showing you guys ways in which I tend to capture my VR content when I'm doing it. So now once you have your software and everything set up and the way that you want it, the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go into our settings and get things set up. So what I recommend is about a 5,000 to 6,000 kilobyte per second bit rate, as that allows it to stay very nice and smooth. And it keeps your stream from getting very pixelated. And then the next important thing that we're going to want to set up is our video. So Streamlabs or OBS is actually really nice about this, and this is something that's really awesome about OBS that I absolutely like, is you get two different resolutions. So you get your canvas, you get your base canvas resolution, and this is the resolution that you're running at. So you generally want to have this set for whatever your monitor's primary resolution is. Like for me, I run at 1080p. And then your output is your scaled resolution, which is what OBS will feed out to in a file. So, like, if you're wanting to stream to Twitch, especially if you are a new streamer, I and a lot of my streamer friends that are actually also in chat will back me up on this. Please, 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 even if your computer can run it at 1080p, do not stream at 1080p. Just do not do it. You will be hurting yourself in the long run if you choose to do it. So the most generally accepted resolution for Twitch is 720p 60 frames per second. You can do 30. Doing 30 is not terrible at all, as it does free up more resources for your computer to run better. And but generally, you can, if you can run at 60, run at 60 and do it at 720p, as there are more people that will be able to watch, and you're not guaranteed. And the big reason why we suggest this is because more people can watch at 720p, and you're not always guaranteed you're not always guaranteed transcoding, which, like, if you look on the Furality stream, for instance, and you click settings, you'll see a quality setting, and then you can adjust your quality from there. uh, that is what is known within the streaming world as transcoding, and that is something that Twitch hands out to people that are either have a lot of viewers, or partners get it automatically. Affiliates, if you reach affiliate, you can kind of fish for it. Sometimes it can take a bit. Other times you might get it on your first try. It's kind of like playing the lottery at that point. Um, but if you get it, great. So it's not so much that your stream. It's not so much that your stream will lag, because you can stream at 480. If you wanted to stream at 480 by default, you can do that. All you would have to do is just set your scaled resolution down to that. Yes, that's exactly why some people can't watch your stream, because um, when you watch a stream, you're so when you're watching a stream. So, like, for instance, while you're watching the Furality stream, um, you are downloading data, and what you're able to view is based on the performance of your computer and the performance of your internet. So like, your download speed definitely has a big, big, big thing, a big impact on your ability to watch streams, because again, you're downloading all that data, and if your internet can't download all that data that fast, then the stream will start to buffer and you'll experience a lot of problems. um yes, Darius, that is the VR stream, because that's kind of what we were setting up that's what we were just setting up. Um, but that's generally why we, as streamers, to new streamers, recommend that you stream, if you're wanting to stream, to do it at 720p, as more people will be able to watch and enjoy your content. If you're doing recording, on the other hand, you can just completely ignore this. You can completely ignore everything I just said if you're recording. So, like, if you're recording to upload to YouTube, go ham with it. Do what you want, because at that point, YouTube will just scale the video down on its own once you upload it. So everything that I just said is based on you being a live streamer. Now, when it comes to But the biggest thing that you really want to watch out for when you're streaming, and this is a big reason why I recommend having a program like OVR Toolkit open, is because then you can have your streaming software set as the capture window for OVR Toolkit or XS, and it will allow you to see what is going on with your computer. Down here where down here at the bottom of my screen where it says dropped frames, as you see, I have 0 drop frames. I don't have any drop frames because my internet can handle this, and we're not doing anything spectacular that's stressing out my computer. But this will let you know if there is a problem. So, like for instance, let's say for instance my computer isn't as powerful as it is right now, and I can't stream at 1080p, then I would start getting messages down here saying and you would see my frames start dropping like crazy, and it would say, "Hey, encoder overloaded, adjust your settings." So then that's where we would stop the stream, and we would go into our output and kind of see, well, okay, let's go ahead and start dialing, let's start dialing down these settings. So like for instance, as you can see, my encoder is set to, I can't change these options because obviously I'm streaming to you guys. If I can't change these you cannot change these settings while you're streaming. So by default, OBS and XSplit will be set for CPU encoding, which is known as X64. And X64 has different presets over NVENC. Obviously, I'm using NVENC because NVENC is usually, when NVENC first came out, it was actually kind of crap. Like if you streamed on NVENC, you weren't getting good quality, period. But NVIDIA has come a long way with their NVENC encoder to where it's almost non-discernible between whether or not someone's recording off their CPU or if they're recording off their GPU. And a lot of streamers these days tend to record off their GPUs, as the GPU doesn't have as much to do as the CPU does. But if you have it set to x86, you can then further dial it down, as you will have a bunch of different encoder settings. So if we enable advanced encoder settings, you'll see that I now have a bunch of different options. So like we have max quality, quality performance, max performance, low latency quality, and then low latency performance. The further down this list you go, the more stress you're going to put on your hardware. So for the most part, bitrate for stream quality. So the bitrate you want to use is dependent upon what quality you're wanting to stream at. Twitch actually has if we go to Google, Twitch bitrate. So if we pull up this page here, this is the let me go ahead and just close this down, and you can actually go away. We're done with you. Oh, we are done with you. Thank you. So if you go to this website, or you can also quickly Google it, this gives you all of the settings that you will need for each setting that you want for your resolution. So like for instance, for 1080p 60, you'll want your resolution set to 1080p, your bit rate's at 6000. The rate control, never use VBR, which is known as variable bit rate. Variable bit rate kind of adjusts how much bit rate you're putting out, and it can cause a lot of problems. So it's generally recommended that you always use CBR, which is consistent bit rate. Then you'll want your frame rate for 60 or 50 frames per second with the preset of quality. And then over on the, and that's if you're doing NVENC. If you're doing CPU encoding, you'll want to follow the X80 or the X264 specs. Um, Oh, thank you, JJ. You're being absolutely helpful with some of you're actually being. This is why I'm glad I told a lot of my streamer friends that I'm doing this. Um, if you're wanting to do 720p at 60, you can bump it down to 4500 kbps, which is more than enough. Because the big thing is you want to have enough headway with your network performance that you're not overdoing your network and you're always wanting to have headway. That's the most important thing with creating content. What a lot of people do, because a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about is if you're, say, recording off of a single computer. What some other people do, if they can afford it, I think it does. I do believe that that runs when you first start it. Like I said, my OBS was kind of already pre-configured. My OBS was already pre-configured because I've used it in the past. I was having some problems with XSplit. I was having a really bad memory leak. So the way you can tell what your max bitrate is by doing a speed test. Do a speed test, and when you're streaming, everything is based off of your upload speed. So, like, if you have, say you have an internet speed of 6 megabits per second. That means you have effectively 6,000 kilobits per second of upload speed. You do not want to use all of that. You, so if you are literally at the 6 megabits per second part, you cannot do 1080p. You will not be able to do it because you will essentially be bottlenecked by your ISP. So at that point, you'll want to go down to like 720p 60. Uh, I would think if you wanted to do a 1024, I don't know how that I don't know. You might be able to get away with doing it at 5,000 kilobits per second because it's not as much as 1080, but I'm not 100% sure. Twitch generally doesn't recommend you do anything kind of like outside of like a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, just due to the fact that it wouldn't fit the player properly. And what a lot of people do, when they're doing games and stuff like that is they have like the borders um, that you kind of see around to kind of like get rid of a lot of that empty space, or or like in the case of like the link to the past randomizer, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys watched this afternoon. They can just kind of like format it in a way where it just fits. But generally, as a general rule of thumb, it's generally best to try to stick in a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. If I'm going to take a moment to go back to XSplit for a minute. Um, XSplit has a really nice thing with the workspace where you can actually set it to split mode. So what split mode does is it gives you a preview and then it gives you the live. So like if there's a setting that you need to change, or if you're wanting to move something, you can do that over here. And then when you're done, it'll get reflected over here. You can also, but I tend to keep it in classic because I just do everything live because that's just how I am. And you can also set the resolution here as well. And so as you can see, XSplit already comes pre-configured with a lot of the presets already done. So you have like so you have all the popular 16:9s, and then since we have 4K now, it actually does have a 4K setting. But you're only probably really going to use the 4K setting if you're recording 4K content. If you're recording 4K, then you can use the 4K, but otherwise, generally, if you're going to be streaming on Twitch, you're not going to be using this because Twitch doesn't have a 4K option. At least not yet. Okay, it does look like I'm kind of running a little bit out of time here. So I actually do want to go into a couple little handy tools that you can use for streaming. I would like you. What's the program to use our VR chat avatars as our camera? You mean like what I'm doing right now? Like down here in the bottom left, or I mean bottom right. This is a program called VC Face. That's this program right here. It generally works the same way as Live, and the fact that it uses it uses a .vrm file, and you would just drag drop. You would just add your avatar through the file, and then it works very similar to FaceRig if you've ever heard of that program. And what's really nice is that it actually has track leap motion. So if you have like one of those, yep, I'm on it. Thank you, Song. I'm getting ready to wrap up here soon. Oh yeah, Suva and Luppet are also really popular. I haven't used those programs myself, so I don't have a lot of comments on that one. Another tool that I would recommend for streaming, if you're going to be a streamer, is a chatbot. And there's a lot. Yes, you can stream and record at the same time. Absolutely. You can do both. I actually do both. When I do I do a show called Wild Adventures, which I can actually you know what, Steam VR, you can go. You're done now. Bye. Get out of here. So like for instance, let me see here. Where is my videos at? Videos, where are you? So like if we go here, all of these here, yes, VC Face is 100% free. So all of these here, all of these videos that I have here are videos that I've recorded from my show called Wild Adventures that I do with a bunch of fellow streamers, Remy Draken, T Foxer, Lorgans, myself, and I at first I was kind of doing it as like I would just download the streams. I would just highlight it, then download the streams, and then upload those to YouTube. I'm actually like really far behind. Like these are several episodes that I actually still need to edit and upload. But now what I do is once I transition the stream over to Wild Adventures, is I start recording. So you can do both at the same time, no problem. I would also now to wrap up real quick, since I'm actually running out of time. I would definitely recommend getting a software like this. It's called Streamlabs Chatbot. This is their legacy version. They also do have a cloud bot that you can use. OBS also has this kind of option where you can download an add-on for OBS called Stream Elements OBS. And Stream Elements OBS basically tacks on a bunch of like extra little features that are useful for streamers, such as like you can have like your chat here. You can have like so you can have like your chat here. You can have an activity feed over here, like how I have it set up, and you can also have it set up where you can have a window where you can change stream title, tags, and stuff like that. So it's definitely another piece of software I recommend using. You can get that from Stream Elements website, which is like www.streamelements.com. If you wanted to get the Streamlabs chatbot, though, like the one that I use here, I will actually show you guys where to go to download that. So we're going to go ahead and go to Streamlabs. Streamlabs is actually a very popular website, as they have a lot of really nifty tools that you can use as a streamer. Such as they have like a bunch of widgets. So like the little bit boss goal that you saw up there, that comes from these guys. And they have like a bunch of like fun little things that you can do, and you can also have like a chat box show up on stream, event list. Alert box is another very popular one, as that shows you as it, and you can like really customize it in a way that makes it kind of unique to you, because that's something that's very important within Twitch, is you want to do something that's unique to you. But so we want to get the, so we're going to type in here, because they've actually because they've really hidden this darn thing. So Streamlabs chat bot legacy. Oh, nope. Looks like, did they actually get rid of it entirely now? Oh, darn it. I think they got rid of it. I think they've got rid of the chatbot entirely now. Huh. That is depressing. Guess they've moved everything over to their CloudBot. But this is their CloudBot. It is a nice little piece of software. You don't have to run it on your own computer. And if you have their premium service like I do, then you can actually name it whatever you want. Another popular bot that you can use is Nightbot. And then this is actually another one that I found that's actually really nice, called Deep. Here we are. And this is a oh, is it still there? I couldn't find it. Okay, yep. So to wrap things up, this is the final piece of tech that you can use for your streaming adventures. This is a program called Deepbot. This one you actually do have to pay for, at least to get started. It's $5. I think it's like $5 to get started. Okay, no, I'm sorry. It's $10 to get the license, and then if you want the VIP, it's $5 a month. And that lets you do like a bunch of like extra little features, but a lot of its core features are just It's just $10 one time, and you can also use it to control every aspect of your stream as well. But I want to thank you guys all so much for coming by and watching. I hope that you guys did learn a lot about streaming, and I really do hope to see a lot of you guys actually come onto Twitch and become live streamers. Live streaming is such a phenomenal experience, and it really gives you a chance to connect and meet with new friends. So anyways, I want to thank you guys all so much for your time, And if you want to check me out, you can find me here on Twitch. It's just www.twitch.tv/KazumaGshep. You can always come find me and ask me questions on my own stream. I'm always available to try and help out. You can also reach me on Twitter as well. It's just the same name, at KazumaGshep. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for coming by watching, and I'll see you all next time. Till then, take care, everyone.